Welcome to the Book Echo. Today, we're diving into a book that's equal parts mesmerizing and controversial. Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction. This isn't your typical self-help or relationship guide. Greene takes seduction to another level by revealing it as a powerful tool for influence, manipulation, and control, exploring how it's woven through politics, culture, and everyday life. Whether you're trying to win someone's heart, secure a business deal, or sway a crowd, understanding the art of seduction is key. Seduction isn't just about romance, it's about power. From Cleopatra to Casanova, from Napoleon to modern-day influencers, seduction has shaped history. Greene breaks down the psychology behind it and offers a blueprint for becoming a master of the craft. So if you're intrigued by the idea of becoming more magnetic and persuasive, buckle up. This book is a deep dive into the human psyche and how to turn desire into influence. In this summary, we're going to explore how small, deliberate actions can make others see you as irresistible, while also highlighting the ethical implications of such manipulation. Are you ready to discover the subtle art of getting what you want by making others want you? Let's begin. Chapter 1: The Seductive Character. Seduction begins with your character. Before you can influence others, you need to understand what type of seductive energy you naturally project. Greene outlines 9 seductive archetypes, each of which taps into a different fantasy or desire. 1. The Siren. This type seduces with their presence and charm, using sensuality and allure to captivate. Cleopatra is a classic example, the way she used her appearance and atmosphere to enchant powerful men. 2. The Rake. The Rake is all about intense passion and pursuing their target relentlessly. This type thrives on making others feel desired and admired. Think of figures like Don Juan, who made women feel special through his undivided attention. 3. The Ideal Lover. The ideal lover makes their target feel seen and understood by becoming a mirror of their desires. They embody the fantasy of perfection, offering what their target feels is missing in their life. 4. The Dandy. This character is unconventional, flamboyant, and mysterious, drawing others in with their uniqueness. They break societal norms and exude confidence, making them unpredictable and exciting. 5. The Natural. Using innocence and spontaneity, the natural charms with childlike wonder and openness. They disarm their target with sincerity, often making them feel protective or enchanted by their authenticity. 6. The Coquette. The coquette seduces by withholding affection, creating a sense of desire through absence. They play hard to get, leaving their target always wanting more. 7. The Charmer. This type is a master of social grace, using humor, tact, and adaptability to make their target feel comfortable and appreciated. The Charmer rarely pressures anyone. Instead, they smooth the way with diplomacy. 8. The Charismatic Leader. Charisma is all about making people feel like they are part of something greater than themselves. This type pulls others into their orbit with vision, excitement, and confidence. Think of leaders like JFK or charismatic religious figures. 9. The Star. The Star seduces by projecting an image that others want to associate with. They are admired from afar, their aura inspiring fascination and envy. Think of Hollywood icons who magnetize attention simply by being present. The key takeaway here is that seduction is about embodying a fantasy. These archetypes are templates, each tapping into specific desires that humans unconsciously crave. The first step to becoming a seducer is recognizing which archetype aligns with your natural strengths and what fantasies you can fulfill for others. The power lies in recognizing that seduction is not about force, it's about attraction. It's a pull, not a push. In Chapter 1, Greene emphasizes that the first rule of seduction is to cultivate an attractive and enigmatic character. People are drawn to mystery, to those who appear as more than meets the eye. Your ability to maintain allure depends on mastering your seductive archetype and refining it. Chapter 2: The Art of Creating Desire. In seduction, desire is everything. Robert Greene emphasizes that seduction is not about forcing someone to do what you want. It's about making them want it themselves. This chapter delves into the psychological tactics that create intrigue and longing. The goal is to build a sense of mystery, anticipation, and emotional investment in the mind of your target. Number 1. The Power of Absence. The first strategy in creating desire is mastering the art of absence. Desire is born in the gap between what people want and what they have, and this gap grows wider when what they want is just out of reach. By strategically pulling back, you force others to seek you out, thus increasing their interest. Greene calls this the coquette's game, making yourself the prize that others want to win. Number 2, creating mystery. People are naturally drawn to what they can't fully understand. Mystery is magnetic, because the unknown promises excitement and possibility. To become more seductive, avoid revealing too much about yourself too soon. Instead, drip-feed information about your life and personality, leaving room for your target to imagine and project their own fantasies onto you. Greene suggests that enigmatic behavior is irresistible because it forces others to try to figure you out, keeping their mind occupied with thoughts of you. Number 3, delayed gratification. Another key tactic is to delay satisfaction. Human beings are wired to value things more when they are made to wait for them. Greene highlights how you can use this to your advantage by offering small tastes of what the other person desires without giving it all away. For example, a flirtatious conversation without immediate follow-up, or a compliment that leaves them wondering what you really mean. The suspense drives people to want more. Number 4, create tension and anticipation. Desire thrives in tension. Greene explores the psychological principle that the more tension is built, the more intense the emotional release when it's resolved. In seduction, this can mean creating sexual tension, intellectual intrigue, or emotional longing. The trick is to maintain a careful balance of closeness and distance. When you allow the tension to rise, and then provide just a hint of release, you heighten the intensity of the interaction. Greene says that the promise is more seductive than the pleasure, meaning that people are more entranced by what could happen than by what has already happened. So, instead of rushing to give them what they want, keep them on the edge of desire. 5. Understanding human longing. At the core of creating desire is understanding the deep emotional needs of the person you're trying to seduce. Everyone carries unfulfilled desires, whether it's for love, excitement, power, or recognition. The art of seduction is about discovering these hidden needs and positioning yourself as the person who can fulfill them. When someone believes that you hold the key to their happiness or fulfillment, they become emotionally invested in you. Key takeaways from Chapter 2. Absence and mystery are powerful tools for increasing interest. Seduction is about building tension and delaying gratification to amplify desire. Understanding and tapping into someone's deep, unspoken desires is the key to making them want more. Creating desire is a delicate dance between showing enough to intrigue but holding back enough to keep them wanting. This is the foundation of any successful seduction, whether in romantic relationships, business dealings, or social influence. Chapter 3. Mastering the seductive process. Seduction is an art form that requires not just desire, but mastery over the entire process. In this chapter, Robert Greene introduces the reader to the subtle nuances of control in the seduction game. It's not just about charm or physical attraction. Seduction is a psychological endeavor that unfolds through deliberate steps, timing, and an understanding of human nature. 1. The 4 phases of seduction. Greene outlines the seduction process in 4 key phases, each requiring skill, patience, and adaptability. By following these steps, you create a seductive rhythm that draws your target closer. Phase 1. Laying the groundwork. The first phase of seduction begins before you even make your approach. This is the time to create an aura of attraction through your appearance, demeanor, and reputation. Greene emphasizes that your target should become aware of you without feeling like they've been targeted. You should seem desirable to many, but only subtly interested in them, playing into the universal desire to be chosen or singled out. Phase 2. Stirring interest. Once the groundwork is set, it's time to engage. The goal here is to stir curiosity and ignite a spark of interest. You can do this through attention-grabbing conversations, subtle flirtations, or actions that make you stand out from others. Greene advises avoiding direct compliments or over-eagerness at this stage. Instead, focus on intriguing your target, giving them just enough attention to leave them wanting more. Phase 3. Creating emotional dependence. This phase is the heart of the seduction process. The goal here is to build a sense of emotional dependency. Greene explains that you must now start to show more of your emotional side, making the other person feel special and understood. By gradually revealing your vulnerabilities and listening to theirs, you foster a deeper connection. Emotional dependency is created when the target starts feeling that no one else can fulfill their emotional needs quite like you. Phase 4. Moving toward fulfillment. As desire deepens, the final phase is to offer the promise of satisfaction, but without delivering it immediately. In this stage, your goal is to amplify their desire and tension while maintaining control of the pace. Whether in a romantic context or not, this phase plays on the human need for resolution. You control the process, giving them just enough to feel close, but keeping ultimate fulfillment in your hands. 2. Control through detachment. One of the keys to mastering the seductive process is emotional detachment. Greene highlights that the best seducers know how to emotionally detach themselves while appearing deeply involved. This means controlling your own emotions and avoiding the trap of becoming too attached to the outcome. The person being seduced should feel as if they are in control of their own desires, even though you're the one orchestrating the moves. Greene notes that this emotional detachment allows you to see the game from a strategic point of view, remaining calm and composed no matter how emotionally charged the situation becomes. 3. Playing to their weaknesses. To master the art of seduction, you must identify and play to your target's weaknesses. Greene explains that everyone has insecurities, desires, and fears that can be used to your advantage. By understanding what makes someone feel vulnerable, you can tailor your approach to exploit these soft spots, whether it's through offering validation, playing on their ego, or giving them the emotional support they crave. This doesn't mean manipulation in a malicious sense, but rather becoming the person who can provide what they feel they lack. 4. Timing is everything. In seduction, timing is crucial. Greene emphasizes that rushing the process or revealing too much too soon can ruin the allure. The best seducers know how to pace their interactions, increasing intensity slowly but surely, while always leaving something just out of reach. Being patient and allowing the natural ebb and flow of desire to build ensures that when the time is right, the final reward feels inevitable and irresistible. The art of withdrawal. Part of mastering seduction is knowing when to withdraw. Greene suggests that periodically pulling back after a period of intense connection creates a vacuum of desire. When you suddenly retreat, the other person feels your absence more keenly, and this absence can lead them to chase you even harder. Withdrawal forces the target to emotionally invest in you by creating the sensation of loss. Our key takeaways from Chapter 3. Seduction is a process that unfolds over time and is best done in phases, each with specific goals. Emotional detachment allows you to maintain control and prevents you from becoming too invested in the outcome. To seduce successfully, you must play to the emotional needs and weaknesses of your target. Timing is everything in seduction. Building anticipation without rushing the outcome is essential. The art of withdrawal increases desire by giving space for longing to develop. Mastering the seduction process is about strategy, control, and patience. Greene argues that the best seducers are those who keep their targets guessing, on edge, and always wanting more. Chapter 4. The Seductive Character. In Chapter 4 of The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene dives into the essential qualities that make up a truly seductive character. While seduction itself is an art form, the person doing the seducing plays a critical role. Greene outlines 9 distinct seductive archetypes, each representing different ways to enchant and captivate people. By identifying and embodying one or more of these personas, you can unlock your seductive potential and adapt to the desires and weaknesses of your target. 1. The siren captivates through a potent combination of beauty and mystique. Think Cleopatra or Marilyn Monroe, figures who evoke an aura of unattainable beauty mixed with an intense allure. The siren knows that her presence alone can create obsession. Her power lies in stirring deep emotions, and the best sirens understand how to play on the fantasy they inspire. making others want to chase after their irresistible, almost otherworldly appeal. How to embody the siren. Create a visual and emotional impression that lingers in the minds of others. Be graceful, elusive, and tap into sensuality in subtle but memorable ways. 2. The rake. The rake is the ultimate pursuer, someone who makes their desire unmistakably clear. Their seduction is centered around intense attention and pursuit. The rake is often a bit dangerous or rebellious, which only adds to their charm. They embody passion and are willing to chase their target without hesitation, making them feel as if they are the only person in the world. Famous examples include Casanova or Don Juan. How to embody the rake. Show enthusiasm and passion in everything you do. Make your interest in others clear and relentless, making them feel desired and special. 3. The ideal lover. The ideal lover taps into their target's deepest desires and becomes the person they've always dreamed of. This archetype studies their target carefully, finding out what they long for in a partner or life. Whether it's the nurturing warmth they lack or the excitement they crave, the ideal lover becomes whatever is missing. Think of historical figures like Madame de Pompadour or Jackie Kennedy. How to embody the ideal lover. Be attentive and study your target's fantasies and dreams. Shape yourself into the version of perfection they are subconsciously seeking. 4. The dandy. The dandy plays with ambiguity and nonconformity, blurring the lines between masculinity and femininity. Dandies are intriguing because they seem to live by their own rules, free from societal constraints. They often challenge norms and expectations, making them appear bold, unpredictable, and exciting. Famous dandies include Oscar Wilde and David Bowie. How to embody the dandy. Break conventions and cultivate an aura of mystery. Let your confidence shine, and don't be afraid to be unconventional or challenge norms. 5. The natural. The natural seduces by tapping into childlike innocence and wonder. This archetype uses a sense of spontaneity, fun, and lightheartedness to captivate others. People are drawn to the natural because they seem to embody simplicity, honesty, and playfulness, bringing out the best, most relaxed version of themselves. How to embody the natural. Embrace spontaneity and joy. Be genuine in your interactions and remind others of the carefree, innocent side of life. 6. The coquette. The coquette uses deliberate aloofness and inconsistency to stir up desire. They are masters of playing hard to get, keeping their targets on edge by alternating between warmth and coldness. Coquettes can make others crave their affection by holding it just out of reach. Famous examples include Josephine Bonaparte and Scarlett O'Hara. How to embody the coquette. Be elusive and unpredictable. Engage in flirtation, but always leave people wanting more by pulling back at key moments. 7. The charismatic. The charismatic seduces through a strong sense of confidence and purpose. Charismatics are magnetic because of their conviction and passion for something bigger than themselves. People are drawn to their vision, as they seem to have a clear sense of who they are and what they stand for. Charismatic seducers include figures like John F. Kennedy and Oprah Winfrey. How to embody the charismatic. Cultivate a strong belief in yourself and your purpose. Speak with conviction and make others feel like they are part of something important. 8. The star seduces by creating an aura of fame and intrigue. Stars are admired and idolized from afar, and their allure often lies in their unattainability. They cultivate mystery and maintain a certain distance, allowing others to project their fantasies onto them. Famous stars include Audrey Hepburn and Princess Diana. How to embody the star. Create an aura of mystery and distance. Be elusive, allowing others to be fascinated by what they don't know about you. 9. The seductive personality. Lastly, Greene discusses how one can craft their own seductive personality by blending characteristics of these archetypes. You don't have to fit neatly into just one category. Instead, draw from multiple styles to develop a seductive persona that is both authentic and irresistible. Key takeaways from Chapter 4. Seduction is as much about who you are as what you do. Understanding the seductive archetypes helps you identify which qualities you naturally possess and which ones you can cultivate. Chapter 5. The seductive environment. In Chapter 5 of The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene emphasizes that seduction isn't just about the person doing the seducing, it's also about the environment in which the seduction takes place. This chapter delves into how creating a seductive atmosphere can intensify your allure and pull your target deeper into the web of desire. 1. Set the mood. The power of ambience. Just like a great performance is enhanced by the stage, seduction requires the right backdrop. Greene explains that your surroundings can significantly influence the emotional state of the person you're trying to seduce. A carefully designed environment can heighten senses, lower inhibitions, and make the seduction feel more natural. How to create a seductive setting. Lighting, music, and texture all play key roles. Dim lights, soft sounds, and luxurious fabrics can create an intimate atmosphere that feels exclusive and personal. Think of it like setting a stage for a play, where everything serves to focus attention on you and build anticipation. 2. The art of isolation, removing distractions. A key part of building a seductive environment is removing distractions. The more isolated and removed from everyday life you can make your target feel, the easier it will be for them to be fully engaged in the moment. This doesn't just mean physical isolation. Emotional and mental distractions must also be cleared. How to isolate your target. Find ways to create one-on-one situations where your target feels that they are the center of your attention. Whether it's a private dinner or an impromptu walk, make the space feel like a cocoon where nothing else matters. This psychological separation from the outside world enhances the intensity of the interaction. 3. Mystery and suspense. Let curiosity build. A seductive environment often involves a sense of mystery and suspense. People are more easily seduced when they feel they are uncovering layers of your personality or a situation, piece by piece. The slow reveal keeps your target intrigued and wanting more. How to build mystery. Instead of giving everything away at once, let small, intriguing details surface slowly. This can be done through your environment. Perhaps you invite them to an exotic or unfamiliar place, or hint at aspects of yourself they've never seen. Build suspense by making the seduction feel like a journey with unexpected turns. 4. Creating a dreamlike state. A truly seductive environment creates a dreamlike state where time seems to slow down and reality blurs. Greene explains that this sense of suspended reality can make seduction feel like a fantasy come to life. In such environments, people are more likely to let their guard down, making them more susceptible to your charms. Key takeaways from Chapter 5. Seduction thrives in an environment designed to heighten emotions, reduce distractions, and create a sense of intimacy. Every detail counts. The setting should feel exclusive and carefully curated to make your target feel like they are in a different, more exciting reality. Build suspense and mystery, allowing the environment to enhance the slow reveal of your true intentions and personality. Timing and patience are essential. A seductive environment will work in your favor, but only if you allow it to unfold at the right pace. The art of creating the perfect seductive environment is about crafting an experience that heightens every sensation. It's not just about what you say or do, but how the space around you enhances the emotional and psychological journey of seduction. Chapter 6. Mastering the Art of Detachment. In Chapter 6 of The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene introduces one of the most powerful tools in the seducer's arsenal: detachment. True seduction is not about appearing desperate or too eager. It's about controlling the pace of the relationship and leaving your target wanting more. Greene teaches that by mastering the art of detachment, you become unpredictable, mysterious, and ultimately more desirable. 1. The seducer's cool. Emotional control seduction thrives on emotions, but ironically, the seducer must maintain control over their own feelings. Greene points out that emotional control is the bedrock of detachment. If you become too emotionally invested too quickly, you risk overwhelming your target or appearing needy. How to practice emotional control. Stay composed and avoid letting your feelings dictate your actions. If your target pulls away, don't panic or chase after them. Instead, remain calm and collected, signaling that you are self-sufficient and not dependent on their response for your own validation. This restraint gives you an air of mystery and strength, which draws people in. 2. The power of absence. Greene discusses the psychological impact of absence in seduction. Humans often want what they can't have, and by occasionally removing yourself from the equation, you can make your presence feel more valuable. Detachment and absence keep your target guessing and yearning for more attention. How to use absence strategically. Don't always be available. After a particularly intimate or engaging interaction, withdraw for a while. Let them feel your absence. This creates an emotional void, one that only your return can fill. The key is to balance closeness and distance, giving them just enough to keep them hooked while maintaining a sense of unpredictability. Number 3. Mysterious and unpredictable, keeping them guessing. Detachment also involves cultivating a sense of mystery. When you're too predictable or too open, you lose the allure that keeps your target intrigued. Greene emphasizes that unpredictability is a cornerstone of seduction. Your target should never be sure of what's coming next. How to keep things unpredictable. Don't reveal everything about yourself all at once. Occasionally, surprise your target with unexpected gestures or shifts in behavior. This could be as simple as changing your routine, introducing new elements to your personality, or keeping certain thoughts and feelings to yourself. The more they have to guess, the more they will think about you. 4. Creating a push-pull dynamic. Greene introduces the concept of the push-pull technique, alternating between moments of attention and moments of detachment. By giving someone a taste of closeness, only to pull back soon after, you create a roller coaster of emotions that becomes addictive. How to use the push-pull method. After engaging deeply with your target, creating a sense of intimacy, pull back slightly. This withdrawal leaves them wanting more, as they try to regain the closeness they felt. But don't stay distant for too long, just enough to keep them chasing that feeling. This back-and-forth dynamic heightens tension and builds attraction. Number 5. The detachment of desire. One of the more nuanced aspects of detachment is that it can actually intensify desire. Greene explains that by staying somewhat aloof, you trigger the human instinct to pursue what is elusive. The more someone feels they can't fully have you, the more they want to try. How to heighten desire through detachment. Subtly let your target know that you have options, that your world doesn't revolve around them. This doesn't mean ignoring or neglecting them, but rather showing that your happiness and fulfillment come from within, and they are simply a part of that. This dynamic often makes your target want to secure a bigger role in your life. Key takeaways from Chapter 6. Detachment is a powerful tool in seduction, giving you control over the pace of the relationship and making you appear more desirable. Emotional control is essential. Stay composed and never let your feelings overwhelm the situation. Use absence to increase your value and make your presence feel special. Be mysterious and unpredictable, always keeping your target guessing about your next move. The push-pull dynamic creates an emotional roller coaster that deepens attraction. Detachment increases desire, as people tend to want what they can't fully have. Mastering the art of detachment isn't about playing hard to get. It's about creating a balanced dance between closeness and distance. With the right amount of emotional restraint and unpredictability, you can keep your target captivated and craving more. Chapter 7. The seductive charm of confidence. Confidence is an essential ingredient in seduction, and in this chapter, Robert Greene delves into the captivating power of self-assuredness. Confidence isn't just about being bold, it's about displaying an unshakable belief in yourself that naturally attracts others. People are drawn to confidence because it represents security, strength, and a sense of purpose, all things we naturally admire and desire. Number 1. The magnetic power of self-belief. At the heart of confidence is a deep sense of self-belief. Greene argues that people are attracted to those who are sure of themselves because it creates a magnetic pull. If you believe in your own worth, others will start to believe in it too. How to cultivate self-belief. Start by focusing on your strengths. Acknowledge the qualities that make you unique and desirable, and let them guide your actions. When you engage with others, speak and act with conviction. If you appear uncertain or self-doubting, others will sense it and may lose interest. But when you carry yourself with confidence, people are naturally drawn to your energy. Number 2. Confidence versus arrogance. Greene emphasizes that while confidence is attractive, arrogance is repellent. The key difference between the two lies in how you treat others. Confident people don't need to belittle or compete with others to feel secure, while arrogance often comes from insecurity, masked as superiority. How to maintain confidence without arrogance? Practice humility alongside your confidence. Recognize that your self-assuredness doesn't make you better than others. It just reflects that you are comfortable in your own skin. Listen to others, appreciate their strengths, and be open to learning. A truly confident person uplifts those around them, while an arrogant person seeks to dominate. 3. Projecting confidence, body language and voice. Non-verbal cues play a significant role in projecting confidence. Greene teaches that the way you carry yourself, your posture, eye contact, and even the tone of your voice can convey assurance and power without saying a word. How to project confidence through body language. Stand tall, make direct eye contact, and speak clearly and deliberately. Avoid fidgeting or shifting nervously, as these behaviors signal insecurity. Instead, move with purpose and exude calm authority. Your voice should be steady, not rushed, and your tone should reflect certainty. 4. The allure of risk-taking. Confident people aren't afraid to take calculated risks, and this boldness is inherently seductive. Greene points out that people are drawn to those who are willing to step out of their comfort zones and embrace the unknown. Taking risks suggests that you trust yourself and your abilities, which can be highly attractive. How to embrace risk. Start by pushing your own boundaries in small ways, whether it's initiating a bold conversation, making a decision without overthinking, or pursuing a goal others might consider ambitious. The key is to not fear failure, but to see it as a learning experience. This fearless approach creates an air of excitement and unpredictability around you, which is irresistible to others. 5. Confidence in uncertainty. In many seductive scenarios, the future is uncertain, and this can create anxiety. However, Greene emphasizes that the seducer must remain calm and confident, even in the face of ambiguity. This ability to stay composed when others would panic or retreat sets you apart. How to stay confident in uncertain situations. Embrace the unknown with curiosity rather than fear. Trust that you have the skills and mindset to adapt to whatever comes your way. When others sense that you are unfazed by uncertainty, they will look to you for guidance and reassurance, further deepening your allure. 6. Authentic confidence. Aligning actions with beliefs. True confidence stems from authenticity. Greene warns that pretending to be confident without genuinely believing in yourself can backfire. People can usually detect when someone is faking it, which undermines the seduction. How to align actions with beliefs. Reflect on what you truly value and ensure that your actions align with those beliefs. When your outer persona matches your inner convictions, your confidence will come across as genuine and deeply rooted, making you much more convincing and appealing. Key takeaways from Chapter 7. Confidence is magnetic because it exudes self-assurance, strength, and certainty, which people naturally admire. True confidence is built on self-belief without the need to belittle others, differentiating it from arrogance. Body language and vocal tone play a crucial role in projecting confidence. Standing tall, maintaining eye contact, and speaking clearly all reinforce your confidence. Confident people take risks and face uncertainty without fear, which creates excitement and allure. Authentic confidence comes from aligning your actions with your beliefs. Being true to yourself is the most powerful form of attraction. Confidence, as Greene describes it, is the cornerstone of a seductive persona. It conveys power, strength, and allure without the need for words. As we move to Chapter 8, Understanding and Mastering Desire, we'll dive into how desire fuels the seductive process and how you can use it to your advantage. Chapter 8, Understanding and Mastering Desire. Desire is the driving force behind all seduction, and in this chapter, Robert Greene explores how understanding and controlling desire can make you a master in the art of seduction. To seduce others effectively, you must first understand what they desire most and subtly position yourself as the answer to that desire. However, it's not just about fulfilling desires. It's about creating a need, an emotional dependency that makes the other person constantly crave your presence. 1. Tapping into the subconscious desires of others. Greene emphasizes that the most potent desires are often hidden in the subconscious. People may not always be aware of their deepest yearnings, but as a seducer, your goal is to uncover those desires and offer something they never knew they needed. How to identify subconscious desires? Observe your target closely. Watch their body language. Listen to the way they talk about their life and their frustrations, and pay attention to the gaps in their emotional fulfillment. These observations will give you insight into their hidden longings. For example, someone who is very successful but constantly stressed may be longing for peace and simplicity in their life. By offering them a sense of calm, you present yourself as the key to their unspoken desires. Number 2. The power of suggestion. Rather than directly offering what the other person wants, Greene suggests using the power of suggestion. Subtlety is key. If you are too overt in offering yourself as the solution to their desires, they may feel manipulated or lose interest. Instead, plant the seed in their mind and let them come to the realization themselves. How to use suggestion effectively? Be indirect. Instead of saying, "I can give you the peace you're looking for," create situations or moments where they experience that peace in your presence. Over time, they will associate that feeling with you without you having to say a word. 3. Creating a sense of mystery. Desire thrives on anticipation and the unknown. Greene highlights that making yourself slightly elusive can increase the other person's desire for you. If you are always available and too easy to figure out, the intrigue fades. The seducer must always keep a sense of mystery, revealing themselves slowly, bit by bit, to keep the other person wanting more. How to cultivate mystery? Avoid revealing everything about yourself too quickly. Instead, leave gaps in your story, hold back some personal details, and keep your emotions controlled. The more mysterious you seem, the more the other person will obsess over discovering who you really are. 4. The art of creating desire through absence. Absence, Greene explains, can be a powerful tool in building desire. When you remove yourself from someone's life for a period, it creates a vacuum. The other person begins to feel your absence and may start to crave your return. This works especially well after a period of intense closeness, creating a push and pull dynamic that heightens the other person's desire for you. How to use absence strategically. After spending meaningful time with someone, step back for a short while. Let them feel the void left by your absence, and resist the temptation to reach out immediately. When you return, their desire will have grown stronger, making your presence all the more intoxicating. 5. Fanning the flames of desire through tension. Creating tension is essential for maintaining desire. Tension keeps emotions running high and ensures that the other person is constantly thinking about you. However, too much tension can be overwhelming, so it's important to strike the right balance. How to create tension? Use the push and pull method. Give the other person enough of yourself to keep them interested, but then pull back just before they feel completely satisfied. This leaves them wanting more and keeps the desire burning. Number 6. Seducing through pleasure. While tension and mystery are important, Greene also emphasizes the seductive power of pleasure. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel good, whether it's through laughter, emotional connection, or physical pleasure. By creating pleasurable experiences, you make it harder for them to resist you. How to create pleasure? Focus on understanding what brings the other person joy. This could be as simple as engaging them in deep, meaningful conversations, sharing their interests, or creating sensual moments. When they associate you with pleasure, they will seek you out more and more. 7. The dangerous trap of overindulgence. While it's important to provide pleasure, Greene warns against overindulgence. If you give the other person everything they want all the time, their desire will diminish. It's crucial to balance pleasure with restraint, ensuring that they never feel fully satisfied. How to avoid overindulgence? Be generous, but withhold just enough to keep the other person wanting more. Whether it's through emotional intimacy, physical connection, or intellectual stimulation, always leave some room for them to continue yearning for you. Key takeaways from Chapter 8. Desire is the engine of seduction, and the seducer's job is to identify and tap into the other person's deepest, often subconscious desires. The power of suggestion is a subtle yet potent way to influence someone's desire without appearing manipulative. Mystery and anticipation are critical to keeping desire alive. Make yourself slightly elusive to create intrigue. Absence and tension can be powerful tools to fan the flames of desire, but they must be used carefully and strategically. Seducing through pleasure is effective, but be cautious not to overindulge. Leave space for longing and anticipation. In this chapter, Greene reveals that seduction is not just about fulfilling desires, but about controlling and manipulating them to create an ongoing emotional need. As we move on to Chapter 9, The Art of Seductive Communication, we'll explore how words, gestures, and subtle cues can deepen the connection between the seducer and their target. Chapter 9, The Art of Seductive Communication. In Chapter 9, Robert Greene delves into the subtle and powerful ways communication can enhance seduction. Seduction isn't merely about appearance or actions. What you say and how you say it plays an equally vital role. Through carefully chosen words, gestures, and cues, a seducer can create an emotional connection, build trust, and deepen desire. In this chapter, Greene explores how mastering communication can help you unlock the deeper layers of seduction. 1. The power of words. Words are tools of influence and can plant ideas, evoke emotions, and stir desire. But the key to using words seductively is not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. Greene explains that seductive communication should be layered, subtle, and often indirect. How to use words to seduce. Avoid blunt statements and instead use suggestion, metaphor, and ambiguity. For example, instead of directly expressing desire, hint at it through veiled compliments or stories. This creates intrigue, making the other person think deeply about your words and, in doing so, become more engaged with you. The power of storytelling. One of the most effective ways to seduce with words is by telling stories. Stories capture attention, evoke emotion, and allow you to express your desires, fears, and vulnerabilities in a way that draws the other person in. When done correctly, storytelling can form a powerful connection as the other person begins to relate their life experiences to yours. 2. Listening is seductive. Greene emphasizes that effective communication isn't just about talking. Listening can be just as seductive. When you listen intently to someone, you make them feel valued, understood, and appreciated. This builds emotional intimacy, which is a cornerstone of successful seduction. How to listen seductively. When the other person speaks, be fully present. Maintain eye contact, nod subtly, and occasionally repeat back what they've said to show that you're truly engaged. Ask insightful, open-ended questions that allow them to share more about themselves. By doing so, you make the other person feel like they are the center of your attention. Number 3. Body language and nonverbal cues. Much of seduction happens without words, through body language and nonverbal cues. Greene explains that your physical presence, how you move, look, and touch, can communicate desire and confidence more effectively than words ever could. Mastering body language. Maintain open and inviting body language. Lean slightly toward the person when you speak, mirror their movements subtly to build rapport, and use gentle touches to create a deeper physical connection. A well-timed touch on the arm or hand can say more than words and create an emotional bond. The seductive gaze. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools in nonverbal communication. Greene suggests using a lingering gaze to communicate interest and desire. However, this must be done with care. If overdone, it can come across as aggressive. The goal is to create a connection without making the other person feel uncomfortable. 4. Using humor to disarm and charm. Humor is a critical component of seductive communication. It relaxes the other person, breaks down defenses, and allows for a more authentic connection. When used effectively, humor can make you more attractive and approachable. How to use humor. Seductive humor should be light, playful, and never at the expense of the other person. The goal is to make them laugh and feel at ease in your presence. Self-deprecating humor can also be effective, as it shows vulnerability and humility, traits that make you more relatable and endearing. 5. The role of silence. In the art of seductive communication, silence can be just as important as words. Strategic silences create tension and anticipation, which heightens desire. When you pause, it gives the other person space to reflect on what's been said, often deepening their emotional engagement with you. How to use silence effectively. After making a meaningful statement or gesture, allow a moment of silence to let it sink in. Don't rush to fill every gap in the conversation. Sometimes the most seductive moments happen in the spaces between words. Number 6. Flattery and compliments. Compliments can be powerful when used sparingly and sincerely. However, Greene warns against overusing them or giving generic praise, as this can come across as insincere. The key to effective flattery in seduction is making the other person feel uniquely valued. How to give seductive compliments. Focus on complimenting something specific and personal, such as their intellect, sense of humor, or a unique quality that most people might overlook. By doing so, you make the other person feel seen and appreciated on a deeper level, which strengthens the emotional connection. 7. Creating a sense of comfort and safety. For seduction to be successful, the other person must feel comfortable and safe in your presence. Greene emphasizes that by creating an atmosphere of trust, you can lower their defenses and open the door to a more intimate connection. How to build comfort. Use open and inviting body language, listen actively, and maintain a calm and relaxed demeanor. Reassure the other person through your words and actions that they can be themselves around you without fear of judgment. 8. The art of suggestion. Finally, Greene discusses the power of suggestion in communication. Seduction is not about being explicit, it's about making the other person think and feel what you want them to, without ever directly saying it. Through suggestion, you can plant ideas in their mind that grow into desire. How to use suggestion. Be subtle in your words and gestures. For instance, instead of saying, "I want you," you might share a story or metaphor that conveys desire indirectly. This allows the other person to fill in the gaps with their own imagination, which can be far more seductive than any direct statement. Key takeaways from Chapter 9. Seductive communication is as much about listening and body language as it is about words. Use words to subtly influence and guide the other person's thoughts, avoiding overt statements in favor of suggestion and metaphor. Listening intently creates emotional intimacy and makes the other person feel valued. Body language, humor, and silence are powerful tools in creating a deeper emotional and physical connection. Use flattery sparingly and sincerely, focusing on unique qualities to make the other person feel truly seen. With the art of communication mastered, a seducer can deepen connections and stir desire in ways that go beyond the surface. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to mix pleasure with pain, a concept that uses emotional tension and contrast to further intensify attraction. Chapter 10. Mix pleasure with pain. In Chapter 10 of The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene takes seduction to a more complex and intense level by introducing the idea of blending pleasure with pain. This chapter focuses on the emotional dynamics between seducer and target, emphasizing how oscillating between positive and negative emotions can strengthen the bond and create deeper desire. The seducer becomes someone who can offer great highs, but also subtle lows, making the experience more addictive and thrilling. Greene's central argument is that humans are naturally drawn to tension and contrast. By mixing pleasure with pain, seducers can create a sense of unpredictability and intensity that captivates their target, leaving them emotionally dependent and desiring more. 1. The importance of contrast. To truly seduce someone, Greene argues that it's crucial to create emotional highs and lows. Without contrast, seduction can become flat, predictable, and boring. The seducer's goal is to be both a source of comfort and challenge, to provide pleasure but also a sense of uncertainty. It's this contrast that keeps the target emotionally engaged and constantly thinking about the seducer. Creating emotional tension. For example, after a period of intense attention and affection, the seducer may briefly withdraw, causing the target to feel a sense of loss or unease. When the seducer returns, the reunion feels even more pleasurable because of the temporary emotional void. 2. How to use pleasure and pain. The seducer needs to learn how to carefully modulate their behavior to blend pleasure with pain. Too much pleasure too quickly can overwhelm the target and lead to emotional burnout. On the other hand, too much pain will push the target away. The key is balance. Pleasure. Give your target moments of genuine affection, kindness, and joy. Compliment them. Take them on exciting adventures. Make them feel special. Pleasure in seduction is not just physical, it's about fulfilling emotional needs like attention, validation, and companionship. Pain. After offering pleasure, subtly introduce moments of doubt or distance. You might withdraw emotionally for a short time, become slightly aloof, or introduce light criticism. This contrast creates emotional tension and makes the target work harder for your approval and affection. 3. The psychological principle behind pleasure and pain. Greene explains that when people experience both pleasure and pain in a relationship, they become emotionally addicted to the experience. This is because the brain releases more dopamine, the chemical responsible for pleasure, when it experiences both highs and lows. The target begins to crave the emotional roller coaster, making the seducer seem more essential and irreplaceable. Addictive dynamics. By carefully controlling when and how you introduce moments of pleasure and pain, you make the target more invested in you. They will begin to focus on how to get back into your good graces when things go awry, and the pleasure you offer afterward will feel more intense and rewarding. 4. Teasing and withholding. Teasing and withholding are essential strategies for mixing pleasure with pain. They work because they keep the target in a state of anticipation and longing. Teasing. Teasing is a playful way of keeping the target slightly off balance, unsure of what comes next. It creates a sense of mystery and challenge, drawing the target closer to solve the puzzle of your emotions or intentions. Withholding. Withholding occurs when you intentionally hold back affection or attention. After offering a period of pleasure, withdrawing it can create an emotional void that the target will want to fill. This creates a cycle of pursuit, where the target becomes more attached and eager to regain the seducer's favor. 5. Pushing boundaries. A master seducer knows how to gently push emotional boundaries to create deeper connections. Greene suggests that after periods of giving and taking, you slowly escalate the intensity of both pleasure and pain. As the relationship becomes more emotionally charged, the target becomes more dependent on you for emotional highs. Pushing pleasure. Plan increasingly pleasurable experiences, surprise them with thoughtful gifts, or take them to new places, ensuring they associate you with joy and excitement. Pushing pain. Subtly introduce moments of disappointment or challenge, like expressing mild disapproval or pulling back emotionally. This should never be harsh or cruel, but gentle enough to create a feeling of insecurity or yearning for more. 6. Why it works. This blend of pleasure and pain works because it taps into deep psychological desires for excitement, unpredictability, and challenge. Greene explains that many people crave a relationship that is emotionally intense because it mirrors the drama and tension they see in stories, films, or fantasy. The allure of drama. People want to feel alive, and nothing creates that sensation like emotional tension. By creating a sense of drama, you become more than just a casual companion. You become someone who stirs deep feelings, desires, and emotions. 7. The risks of mixing pleasure and pain. While this tactic can be highly effective, Greene warns that it must be used with care. Overdoing the pain can cause the target to feel manipulated or mistreated. The key is subtlety. Small doses of doubt or withdrawal, followed by genuine moments of pleasure and connection. Avoid cruelty. Seduction is not about causing real harm or pain. The goal is to create emotional contrast, not emotional trauma. If the balance tips too far toward pain, the target may lose trust or become resentful. Key takeaways from Chapter 10. Mixing pleasure and pain creates emotional tension, making seduction more engaging and addictive. Use contrast to keep your target emotionally invested by alternating between moments of affection and subtle distance. Teasing, withholding, and pushing boundaries are essential tactics for creating emotional intensity. Be careful not to overdo the pain aspect. Seduction is about balance, not cruelty. By blending pleasure and pain, you create a deeper emotional connection that keeps the target longing for more. In the next chapter, Greene explores how to keep them in suspense. We'll dive into how unpredictability and mystery can heighten desire and keep your target continually enthralled. Chapter 11. Keep them in suspense. In Chapter 11 of The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene emphasizes the importance of unpredictability and suspense in keeping your target intrigued and emotionally invested. Seduction is a game of tension and release, and one of the most powerful tools in a seducer's arsenal is the ability to create uncertainty. When your target cannot predict your next move, they remain mentally engaged, always trying to figure you out. This keeps their desire alive and ensures that they never become too comfortable or complacent in the relationship. The idea of suspense plays into human psychology. The unknown is fascinating. People are drawn to what they can't fully understand or control, and this applies in romantic dynamics as well. Number 1. The power of unpredictability. Unpredictability in seduction means being elusive, mysterious, and difficult to pin down. Greene explains that people are naturally drawn to what they can't figure out. By keeping your target on their toes, you create a sense of suspense that heightens their emotional engagement. The allure of mystery. If the seducer is too consistent or easy to read, the target may lose interest. Predictability breeds boredom, but when the seducer introduces elements of surprise, the target remains fascinated, always looking for clues or trying to decipher the seducer's true intentions. Maintaining intrigue. To create this dynamic, offer just enough to keep the target engaged, but hold back enough to remain mysterious. Let your target wonder what you're thinking, what you'll do next, or how you feel. This emotional uncertainty keeps their mind focused on you. 2. Creating emotional peaks and valleys. Greene suggests that in order to keep someone emotionally hooked, you need to alternate between emotional highs and lows. This does not necessarily mean causing emotional pain, but rather creating a rhythm where moments of closeness are followed by brief moments of distance. The ebb and flow of emotions create anticipation, and anticipation fuels desire. Emotional highs. These are moments where you give your full attention, affection, or passion. During these times, the target feels special, appreciated, and close to you. Emotional lows. After the high, withdraw slightly, perhaps by being less available or distant emotionally. This creates a sense of longing in the target, making them miss the emotional highs and crave your attention even more. 3. Delaying satisfaction. One of the most powerful ways to build suspense is through delayed satisfaction. Greene argues that when something is too easily given, it loses its value. The more a person has to wait for or work for your affection, the more they will appreciate and desire it. The art of withholding. Withholding affection, attention, or physical intimacy, especially at moments when the target expects it, can create a sense of tension that amplifies desire. Delaying satisfaction builds suspense and ensures that when you finally give in, it will be much more satisfying. Making them want more. By giving small doses of pleasure or attention and then pulling back, you create an emotional push and pull that keeps your target engaged. They are constantly in a state of wanting more, but never fully getting everything, which drives their desire. Number 4. The seductive use of mystery. Mystery is one of the most seductive qualities a person can possess. Greene explains that revealing too much about yourself too soon can kill the mystique that draws people in. To keep your target captivated, it's important to remain somewhat elusive, even after they feel they know you well. Being hard to fully grasp. Seduction thrives on the unknown. By keeping certain aspects of your life or personality hidden, or by offering conflicting signals, you make it impossible for your target to completely understand or predict you. Leaving clues but no answers. Give hints and clues about your emotions or desires, but never fully reveal everything. Let the target piece together who you are or what you want, keeping them intrigued and engaged. 5. The fear of loss. Greene also points out that the fear of losing something or someone can be an incredibly powerful motivator. By creating uncertainty in your target's mind about whether they truly have you, you heighten their emotional engagement. The possibility of loss. Occasionally introduce subtle hints that you are not fully committed or that you have other options. This does not mean being manipulative, but rather keeping the idea alive that you are not someone to be taken for granted. This fear of losing you adds urgency and intensity to the target's feelings. Scarcity increases value. The less available you are, the more valuable you seem. By making yourself scarce or difficult to obtain, you increase your perceived worth in the eyes of your target. 6. The balance of distance and closeness. The key to mastering suspense is balancing moments of closeness with moments of distance. If you are always distant, the target may become frustrated and give up. If you are always close, the target may lose interest. The secret is to create a dance between these two extremes. Closeness. Moments of vulnerability, affection, or intimacy create emotional bonds and give your target something to hold on to. Distance. After periods of closeness, introduce a little distance. This could be physical, not seeing each other for a while, or emotional, becoming slightly aloof or mysterious. This creates a sense of suspense, keeping the target in a state of anticipation. Key takeaways from Chapter 11. Suspense and unpredictability are key to keeping a target emotionally engaged in seduction. Creating emotional highs and lows keeps the target focused on you and desiring more. Delaying satisfaction makes your affection or attention more valuable. Maintaining mystery and being hard to fully understand increases your allure. The fear of losing you intensifies the target's desire. Balancing moments of closeness with distance creates emotional tension that fuels the seduction. In the next chapter, Greene will teach us how to use the demonic power of words to cast a spell over our targets, further drawing them into our web of seduction. Stay tuned as we explore the next phase of mastering the art of attraction. Chapter 12. Use the demonic power of words. In the Art of Seduction, Robert Greene devotes Chapter 12 to the seductive power of language and words. He reveals how words can be used like spells, carefully chosen and delivered in the right way. They can enchant, manipulate, and control the minds of those we wish to seduce. Just like a magician casting a spell, a skilled seducer understands the power that language holds over emotions, perceptions, and actions. Words have the ability to transform how others see the world, and more importantly, how they see you. This chapter is about how to master the art of persuasive, captivating speech that can deepen desire and control the outcome of a seductive relationship. 1. The power of language in seduction. The words you choose and how you deliver them can drastically change how someone feels about you. Greene compares effective language to magic. When used artfully, words can create illusions, stir emotions, and guide someone's thinking. Language as a tool of influence. In seduction, words can be used to paint pictures, inspire fantasies, and evoke emotions. Rather than speaking plainly or directly, Greene advises using poetic, suggestive language that allows your target to project their own desires onto you. This subtle manipulation allows the target to feel emotionally involved without realizing they are being guided. Speak in images. To engage someone's emotions rather than just their intellect, speak in vivid, sensory images. Descriptions that appeal to the imagination and senses are much more powerful than logical arguments or plain statements. By using metaphorical language, you evoke emotions and sensations that words alone cannot convey. 2. Planting seeds of desire. Greene emphasizes the importance of indirect language in planting ideas and desires in your target's mind. By being suggestive and ambiguous, you allow the person to interpret your words in a way that suits their fantasies. Instead of forcing your intentions upon them, you guide them subtly into wanting what you want. Seductive ambiguity. Ambiguity is a powerful tool in seduction. By being unclear or indirect, you leave room for your target to fill in the gaps with their own imagination. This creates a mental involvement in which the target feels like they are part of the seduction process, rather than merely being seduced. Hinting, rather than telling. Instead of making overt statements or requests, use hints and suggestions. This keeps your target guessing and thinking about you, trying to decode your words and intentions. The more they think about you, the more they become invested in the relationship. 3. Rhythm and tone, the musicality of speech. The way you speak is just as important as the words you use. Greene likens seductive language to music. It should have rhythm, tone, and variation to create an emotional experience. A monotone or overly fast delivery can break the spell, while a voice that fluctuates in pitch and tempo can mesmerize the listener. Slow, deliberate speech. Slowing down your speech creates a sense of intimacy and importance. It signals confidence and allows your target to hang on to every word. Pauses can create suspense and make the listener lean in, eager to hear what comes next. Tone of voice. Your tone should be warm, inviting, and soothing. A seductive tone is never harsh or rushed. It conveys calmness and control, creating a relaxed atmosphere that draws the listener in. 4. Crafting alluring stories. Stories have an ancient power over the human mind. Greene highlights the use of storytelling as one of the most effective ways to seduce someone. When you tell a story, you engage the listener's imagination and emotions. People naturally lower their defenses when listening to a story, making them more open to your influence. Tell suggestive stories. Rather than focusing on facts or direct information, weave tales that subtly reflect the emotions or desires you want your target to feel. For instance, telling a story about a romantic or adventurous experience can plant the seed of those emotions in your target's mind, leading them to associate those feelings with you. Personal anecdotes. Sharing personal stories, especially those that show vulnerability or charm, can make you more relatable and human in your target's eyes. However, be careful to only reveal just enough to intrigue them without overexposing yourself. Mystery must still be maintained. Number 5. The hypnotic power of repetition. Repetition is a subtle yet powerful technique in seduction. Greene advises using certain phrases, words, or ideas repeatedly throughout your conversations. Over time, this repetition works on your target's subconscious, reinforcing the emotions or thoughts you want them to focus on. Repetition in language. When used skillfully, repetition creates a hypnotic effect. By repeating certain words or phrases that evoke desire, confidence, or mystery, you can ingrain those ideas in your target's mind. They may not consciously realize it, but these repeated cues will start to influence how they feel and act. 6. Avoiding logical arguments. One of the biggest mistakes in seduction is relying on logic or reasoning. Greene argues that seduction is about emotions, not rational thought. Trying to convince your target through facts or logical arguments will only push them away, as it appeals to the analytical mind rather than the emotional heart. Speak to the heart, not the head. Instead of offering reasons or explanations, focus on creating an emotional experience for your target. Use words that evoke feelings rather than thoughts. For instance, instead of explaining why you're the right person for them, paint a picture of how being with you will make them feel excited, adored, adventurous. 7. The seducer's promise. At the heart of seductive language lies a promise, often unspoken but deeply felt. This promise is the suggestion that being with you will offer something extraordinary, whether it's excitement, passion, love, or fulfillment. Your words should always hint at this promise without fully revealing it, keeping your target intrigued and wanting more. The allure of possibility. Never be too explicit about what you offer. Instead, let your words suggest that something magical or transformative is possible if your target allows themselves to be seduced. The power of seduction lies in the promise of what might be, rather than the certainty of what already is. Key takeaways from Chapter 12. Seductive language is like casting a spell. It should be poetic, suggestive, and emotionally evocative. Use ambiguity and indirect language to plant desires and ideas in your target's mind. The way you speak, including your tone and rhythm, can enhance the emotional impact of your words. Stories are powerful tools for seduction. Use them to engage your target's imagination and emotions. Repetition of key words and ideas can create a hypnotic effect, embedding your message in your target's subconscious. Avoid logical arguments. Focus on emotions, not reason. Seductive language should always hint at a promise of something extraordinary without fully revealing it. In the next chapter, Greene delves into how to pay attention to details, a key element in perfecting the art of seduction. Stay tuned for more insights on how to refine your approach and captivate your target even further. Chapter 13. Pay attention to details. In Chapter 13 of The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene emphasizes that seduction thrives on the smallest nuances. The way you present yourself, the subtle gestures, the unspoken cues, these tiny details, often overlooked, can be the difference between failure and success in seduction. Greene's argument is that everything about you, from your appearance to the energy you exude, sends a message. To master seduction, you must learn to fine-tune these details and craft an irresistible allure. 1. The devil is in the details. Often, people focus on the big picture when it comes to seduction. Grand gestures, sweeping declarations, but Greene highlights that it's the smallest things that can create the most potent impact. Attention to appearance. Every element of your physical presentation counts. This includes not just how you dress, but how you smell, your grooming, the way you carry yourself. People form impressions in seconds, so it's vital that everything about you aligns with the seductive persona you want to project. A slight touch of elegance, a hint of mystery in your clothing, or a subtle scent can trigger curiosity and attraction. Nonverbal cues, your body language, the way you make eye contact, or the pauses in your conversation are as important as the words you say. Greene suggests mastering subtle nonverbal signals that communicate desire or interest without being overt. A lingering glance or the light touch of your hand can speak volumes more than words ever could. Number 2. Create an aura of mystery. Details are what weave together the fabric of your mystery. Mystery, according to Greene, is one of the most powerful tools in seduction. When you pay attention to the subtle, unexplained aspects of your behavior or appearance, you leave room for your target's imagination to fill in the gaps. Controlled revelation. Don't reveal everything about yourself right away. Use small details to hint at deeper aspects of your personality, but always hold something back. Greene advises using ambiguity in your stories, conversations, and even your attire. For example, wearing an accessory that begs a question but isn't immediately explained can spark curiosity. Strategic silence. Silence can be as seductive as speech. Know when to withhold information, or let moments of silence hang in the air. This creates tension and builds anticipation. By not always filling the space with words, you encourage your target to lean in and engage more actively with you. 3. Master emotional subtlety. True seducers are emotionally intelligent and know how to read and influence others' emotions through subtlety. The key is to create a strong emotional effect without being overt. Show vulnerability in small doses. Being slightly vulnerable can draw someone closer to you, but only if done with subtlety. Greene suggests revealing tiny hints of your emotions, just enough to make you appear human and relatable, but not so much that you overwhelm or seem needy. A fleeting expression of sadness, a brief pause when talking about something personal, can open the door to deeper intimacy. Manipulate emotions delicately. Seduction is a game of pushing and pulling emotions, but it's important to tread carefully. Slight mood changes, becoming briefly distant or melancholic, can stir a sense of unpredictability, which often deepens attraction. However, you must always balance this with warmth and charm, so your target doesn't feel manipulated. Before, the power of small gestures. A grand romantic gesture can be impressive, but small, thoughtful actions often have more enduring power. Greene argues that by paying attention to your target's needs, desires, and preferences in subtle ways, you demonstrate attentiveness and care, which can deepen their connection to you. Thoughtful details. Remembering small details about your target's life, like their favorite coffee order or a piece of music they mentioned, can have a profound effect. A tiny gift that relates to an offhand comment they made shows that you listen closely and care about their individuality. Create personalized experiences. Tailor your actions to the specific person you're seducing. For instance, taking them to a place that aligns with their interests, or making a small, thoughtful gesture that reflects something unique about them shows that you've been paying attention, which is incredibly seductive. 5. Attention to environment. Where you seduce someone matters. The environment you create can significantly influence their mood and perception of you. Greene encourages controlling the atmosphere and setting whenever possible to craft the most enchanting experience. Create a seductive environment. Lighting, music, and even the choice of venue can evoke certain emotions and set the mood for seduction. A softly lit room, gentle background music, or an intimate setting can encourage vulnerability and openness. Your surroundings should always align with the mood you wish to create, whether it's mystery, romance, or intrigue. Pay attention to timing. Timing is everything in seduction. Knowing when to say or do something, when to escalate or withdraw, can be just as important as the act itself. Be mindful of your target's emotional state and the timing of your interactions. Sometimes a well-timed compliment or a perfectly orchestrated evening can be far more seductive than a spontaneous action. 6. Perfecting your seductive persona. Greene suggests that the details of your personality, the persona you project, should be meticulously crafted. Seduction is, after all, a performance. The goal is to create an illusion, a seductive character that is mysterious, alluring, and magnetic. Consistency is key. While it's important to keep some mystery, your overall persona should feel consistent. If you're projecting an air of elegance or danger, all your actions and details, how you speak, dress, and interact, should reinforce that persona. Evolve over time. Seduction is not static. As your relationship with your target progresses, so should the details of your persona. Adapt and evolve the nuances of your character to keep your target intrigued and invested. By subtly changing aspects of your behavior or presentation, you prevent the seduction from becoming stale. Key takeaways from Chapter 13. Pay attention to the smallest details of your appearance, body language, and speech, as these often have the greatest impact. Mystery is enhanced by subtle hints and omissions, allowing your target to fill in the gaps and stay engaged. Small gestures and thoughtful actions tailored to your target's individuality are more powerful than grand displays. Control the environment and timing of your seduction to create the desired mood and emotional response. Your seductive persona should be consistent yet evolving, keeping your target continually intrigued and fascinated. As we wrap up Chapter 13, the power of paying attention to the finer details in seduction becomes clear. Next up, Greene discusses the concept of disarm through strategic weakness, where he explores how to use vulnerability as a potent weapon in the art of seduction. Chapter 14. Disarm through strategic weakness. In Chapter 14 of The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene explores the paradox of weakness as a strength in seduction. While most people see vulnerability as a disadvantage, Greene argues that showing controlled weakness can be one of the most powerful tools in your seductive arsenal. Strategic weakness disarms your target, lowers their defenses, and creates an emotional connection that can pave the way to deeper influence and attraction. 1. The paradox of vulnerability. Typically, we're conditioned to think that power comes from strength, control, and confidence. However, Greene flips this assumption by revealing how vulnerability, when wielded with precision, can create an emotional bond that pure strength cannot. Let your guard down, selectively, revealing your imperfections or emotional needs in small, controlled doses humanizes you. It creates an opening for your target to step in and feel needed, which can trigger protective instincts. But Greene emphasizes that this should be a conscious choice, not a display of uncontrolled weakness. The key is to be selective about when and how you show vulnerability to ensure it is perceived as authentic, but not overwhelming. Subtle emotional cues. Displaying hints of insecurity or vulnerability, such as a fleeting moment of self-doubt or a gentle confession, can elicit empathy and tenderness from your target. For instance, sharing a story of a past failure, a personal challenge, or an unresolved emotional conflict shows that you're not invulnerable, and this contrast to your usual strength can be deeply compelling. 2. The power of neediness. While neediness is often seen as unattractive, Greene explains that a certain kind of neediness, when framed correctly, can be highly seductive. People are drawn to those who, on some level, make them feel indispensable. The savior effect. By revealing a need or weakness, you invite your target to step into a role of support, care, or mentorship. This creates a dynamic where they feel valued and essential in your life. This savior role can make your target feel more deeply connected to you, as their ego is boosted by the idea that they are helping or guiding you in some way. Give and take. The balance lies in not being entirely self-sufficient or entirely dependent. Greene advocates creating a push-pull dynamic, where you demonstrate your independence and competence, but also show moments of reliance on your target for emotional support, advice, or companionship. This carefully measured neediness makes them feel needed without smothering them. 3. The soft touch. In a world where many attempt to dominate or exert control in relationships, the soft touch, emotional sensitivity, gentleness, and tenderness, can create a powerful contrast that catches your target off guard. Appeal to emotions. By showing emotional sensitivity, you tap into the human desire for emotional connection and understanding. Whether through soft-spoken words, a gentle touch, or emotional empathy, this strategy plays on the need for intimacy and emotional safety. Greene suggests that this softness can be especially potent when juxtaposed against a backdrop of strength or independence, creating a dynamic duality in your persona. Empathy and listening. One of the best ways to disarm someone is to listen deeply to them and empathize with their struggles. By being emotionally attuned to their needs, fears, and desires, you create a bond of trust and understanding. This disarming approach is powerful because it invites your target to open up in return, often leading to deeper emotional intimacy. 4. Strategic weakness in competition. When faced with rivals in a seductive pursuit, Greene explains that the strategic display of weakness can be a way to throw competitors off balance and shift the dynamic in your favor. Feign innocence or helplessness. If you appear to be less of a threat or more vulnerable, your rivals may underestimate you. While they overplay their hand, you can quietly win your target's sympathy and affection through your disarming vulnerability. This tactic works especially well in competitive environments where others are trying too hard to assert dominance or show off. Use self-deprecation. Making fun of yourself or downplaying your own strengths can make you appear more relatable and less threatening. This can reduce jealousy or resentment from others, while at the same time making you more endearing to your target. However, Greene cautions that this must be done with finesse. Too much self-deprecation, and you might come off as lacking confidence. 5. Emotional manipulation. Through weakness. Greene doesn't shy away from the darker side of seduction, manipulation. He suggests that by showing vulnerability, you can manipulate emotions and create situations where your target feels obligated or compelled to respond favorably to you. Playing on sympathy. People are often motivated by their own sense of compassion and empathy. By carefully crafting scenarios where your vulnerability is on display, you can evoke these emotions and use them to your advantage. For example, sharing a personal hardship at a pivotal moment in the seduction can elicit an emotional response that makes your target feel closer to you and more protective. Shifting the power dynamic. Strategic weakness can also be used to subtly shift the power dynamic in your favor. By allowing your target to feel as though they are helping or guiding you, you place yourself in a position of influence as they begin to invest emotionally in your well-being. 6. Using weakness to draw others in. In addition to disarming your target, strategic weakness can also be used to draw other people into your seduction. When people see vulnerability, they are often more willing to offer their assistance, whether in a social, professional, or romantic context. The universal appeal of imperfection. People are naturally drawn to others who appear relatable and imperfect. By showing small flaws or admitting to insecurities, you make yourself more approachable and likable, which opens the door to new connections. This tactic can be particularly effective in environments where everyone is trying to impress or assert dominance, as your vulnerability will set you apart. Create opportunities for others to help. When you strategically display weakness or vulnerability, you create opportunities for others to step in and offer help or support. This can strengthen bonds and allow others to feel more deeply connected to you, as they have contributed to your success or well-being. Key takeaways from Chapter 14. Vulnerability and weakness, when used strategically, can be powerful tools for disarming and attracting others. Controlled vulnerability creates emotional connection and invites others to step into supportive roles. The soft touch, empathy, listening, and emotional sensitivity creates intimacy and trust. In competitive environments, feigning weakness or self-deprecation can disarm rivals and win your target's favor. Strategic weakness can manipulate emotions and shift the power dynamic in your favor, drawing others into your sphere of influence. In The Art of Seduction, Greene masterfully teaches us how to embrace vulnerability as a strength, revealing that showing weakness is not a flaw, but a potent tool when wielded with intention. Next, in Chapter 15, we'll explore the fascinating tactic of confused desire and reality, and how blurring the lines between what's real and imagined can deepen the seductive pull. Chapter 15. Confused Desire and Reality. In Chapter 15 of The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene delves into the technique of creating a seductive illusion by blurring the lines between desire and reality. In seduction, perception is more powerful than fact. Greene argues that by manipulating how others perceive reality, particularly through fantasy, you can enhance your allure and deepen your control over them. This chapter focuses on how to craft and sustain that illusion, allowing your target to get lost in the fantasy you create. 1. The power of fantasy. One of the most effective ways to seduce is by making your target's deepest desires seem attainable. But to truly mesmerize them, you need to make the boundary between reality and fantasy indistinguishable. People are driven by their desires, dreams, and longings, and by tapping into this powerful force, you can draw them into your orbit. Plant the seed of fantasy. Greene advises using subtle suggestions, hints, and stories to plant a seed of fantasy in your target's mind. These fantasies should be aligned with their desires, whether for love, power, excitement, or escape. The key is not to provide a full picture, but to leave enough to their imagination, allowing them to fill in the gaps with their own desires. Blur the edges of reality. By manipulating circumstances, behaviors, and emotions, you can make the fantasy feel more real. For example, using metaphorical language, creating an air of mystery, or changing environments frequently, from romantic settings to thrilling adventures, can keep your target from settling into a mundane reality. 2. Control the narrative. In order to blur desire and reality, you must take control of the narrative that you and your target share. This means being the director of their emotional experience, controlling what they see, feel, and interpret in your interactions. Be the storyteller. The most effective seducers are those who can tell compelling stories that resonate with their target's emotions. Greene suggests crafting a seductive narrative that is both captivating and slightly out of reach, forcing your target to chase the story you're creating. This gives them a sense of mystery, intrigue, and anticipation. Mirror their desires. To sustain the illusion, your actions and words should mirror your target's deepest desires. By aligning your behavior with what they crave, whether it's romance, danger, or emotional intensity, you become the embodiment of their fantasy, making it difficult for them to separate you from their idealized vision. Keep them guessing. Greene emphasizes the importance of unpredictability in seduction. If your target knows exactly what to expect from you, they'll become bored, and the fantasy will lose its grip. But by continually surprising them with new aspects of your personality, emotions, and behavior, you create a constantly evolving narrative that keeps them captivated. 3. The seductive art of projection. To create a compelling fantasy, it's not enough to focus on what you want or project. You need to deeply understand your target's desires and project an image that aligns with them. This process of projection involves becoming a mirror that reflects their fantasies back at them, allowing them to see their dreams in you. Be a blank canvas. One of Greene's more powerful suggestions is to present yourself as a blank canvas onto which your target can project their fantasies. By being enigmatic and withholding certain parts of your personality, you allow your target to fill in the gaps with their imagination. This creates a sense of ownership over the fantasy, as they feel that they are in part responsible for crafting it. Appeal to their subconscious desires. People often have desires they're not fully aware of or aren't willing to admit. By observing your target's actions, conversations, and behaviors, you can pick up on these subconscious desires and incorporate them into the fantasy. Whether it's a longing for adventure, emotional connection, or validation, showing an understanding of these hidden desires strengthens the illusion. 4. Create an emotional roller coaster. An essential element of blurring desire and reality is creating an emotional roller coaster. The highs and lows of emotions, intense excitement followed by tension, then release, keep your target emotionally off balance and fully engaged in the fantasy. Use tension and release. Greene advises against giving your target everything they want too easily. The key to seduction is creating moments of tension where the target feels uncertain or slightly anxious, followed by moments of release where their desires are partially fulfilled. This emotional up and down dynamic heightens the seductive experience and makes them crave more. Play with emotions. You can intensify the fantasy by playing with your target's emotions, making them feel deeply invested in your relationship. Small moments of jealousy, the thrill of an unexpected gift or surprise, And even playful teasing can evoke powerful emotional responses that draw them deeper into the illusion. 5. The fine line between truth and illusion. To truly confuse desire and reality, you must walk a fine line between the two. If the fantasy is too far removed from reality, it will eventually break down. If it's too grounded in reality, it will lose its allure. The trick is to keep your target in a state of suspended disbelief, where they don't know where the fantasy ends and reality begins. Give them just enough reality. Greene suggests that the most seductive illusions are those that contain elements of truth. By mixing real emotional experiences, genuine gestures, and authentic moments with the fantasy you're creating, you ensure that your target remains anchored in the experience. Create a sense of possibility. The best fantasies aren't entirely out of reach. They create a sense that with just a little more effort, time, or emotional investment, they can become reality. This keeps your target engaged and motivated to continue the relationship. 6. Sustain the illusion over time. Seducing through fantasy requires continuous effort. The moment the fantasy fades, reality sets in, and the seduction loses its power. Greene stresses that you must sustain the illusion over time by constantly evolving the fantasy and adapting it to your target's changing desires. Anticipate their needs. As your target's emotions and desires shift over time, so too must the fantasy you create. By staying attuned to their changing needs, you can adjust the narrative, keeping the seduction fresh and engaging. Don't let the fantasy die. The most powerful seductions are those that never fully resolve. Greene encourages keeping some parts of the fantasy just out of reach, always leaving your target wanting more. This open-ended approach ensures that your target remains captivated and invested in the relationship, even when faced with the realities of life. Key takeaways from Chapter 15. Fantasy is one of the most powerful tools in seduction. By blurring the lines between desire and reality, you can create a seductive illusion that captivates your target. Be the director of the narrative, controlling what your target sees, feels, and experiences. Mirror your target's desires and project their fantasies back to them, becoming the embodiment of their dreams. Use unpredictability, emotional highs and lows, and tension and release dynamics to keep your target engaged in the fantasy. To sustain the illusion, mix elements of truth with fantasy and continuously adapt to your target's evolving desires. In Chapter 16, we will explore the concept of isolate the victim and how creating a world that revolves around you can enhance your seductive power. Chapter 16. Isolate the victim. In Chapter 16 of The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene explores the seductive strategy of isolating the target from outside influences. The idea is to create an intimate, exclusive world in which the seducer holds control, free from the noise and distractions of the external world. By separating your target from their usual environment and the people they rely on for advice or perspective, you can intensify the connection and make them more emotionally dependent on you. 1. The importance of isolation. Isolation is a key element in building a seductive bond. In the chaos of everyday life, your target has competing influences: family, friends, work, and social commitments. These distractions can prevent you from establishing a deep connection. By pulling them away from these influences, you are able to focus their attention solely on you and the world you're creating together. The focus shifts to you. When you isolate someone, they no longer have the usual inputs that help them make decisions or offer them an escape from your influence. As a result, you become the most dominant presence in their life, making it easier to shape their thoughts, desires, and emotions. An intimate world of two. Creating a bubble around the two of you is essential. This world should be filled with experiences, conversations, and emotions that are exclusive to the relationship. Whether through shared secrets, private jokes, or memorable moments, this personal world becomes a place where your target feels special, understood, and emotionally secure. 2. Physical and emotional isolation. Greene describes two forms of isolation that a successful seducer must master: physical isolation and emotional isolation. Both are equally important in establishing control and deepening the seduction. Physical isolation. The first step is to physically remove your target from their usual environment. This can be done by inviting them to places where they feel a sense of adventure or mystery, spaces where the two of you are alone or can escape the gaze of others. Vacations, secret meeting places, or even quiet walks away from the crowd serve this purpose. Emotional isolation. Emotional isolation, on the other hand, involves cutting your target off from their emotional supports, such as friends, family, or confidants. This doesn't necessarily mean encouraging a rift between them and their loved ones. Instead, you subtly position yourself as the person who understands them best, someone they can confide in, someone who provides emotional satisfaction that others can't. Over time, they begin to turn to you more often, sharing deeper parts of themselves. 3. Gradually build dependence. Isolation is most effective when done gradually. If you immediately try to cut your target off from their world, they might resist or become suspicious. The key is to subtly create situations that encourage dependency, so they don't even realize they are being isolated. Create a safe space. Begin by making yourself indispensable in small ways. Be the person they talk to when they're stressed, the one they go to for advice, the one who cheers them up or makes them feel special. Slowly, you will become a habit, an essential part of their daily life. Subtle control. As their emotional dependency grows, they'll seek your approval and attention more and more. Use this to your advantage by subtly guiding their choices and thoughts. When done correctly, they won't even notice they're giving you control. They'll simply feel that you're someone they can't imagine living without. 4. Keep them off balance. Isolation works best when combined with unpredictability. If your target becomes too comfortable or feels too much control over the relationship, they might pull back or re-engage with outside influences. Keep them slightly off balance to maintain their emotional focus on you. Create emotional highs and lows. Greene advises using emotional fluctuations to keep the seduction alive. When your target feels uncertain or unsure of where they stand, they'll become more invested in the relationship, seeking reassurance and emotional validation from you. Leave them wanting more. Another way to maintain your seductive power is by occasionally withdrawing or becoming distant. This sudden change will create a sense of longing, making your target eager to win back your attention and affection. It's essential, however, to strike a balance. Don't withdraw too often or for too long, or you risk losing them altogether. 5. Remove competing influences. Once your target is isolated emotionally, the next step is to subtly undermine any outside influences that might compete for their attention or affection. Friends, family, and even co-workers can be obstacles in seduction, as they provide perspective, advice, and alternative sources of emotional support. Subtly critique their world. You don't need to outright criticize their friends or loved ones. Instead, point out subtle flaws in their thinking, or suggest that they don't really understand your target's desires and needs the way you do. This gentle undermining can slowly cause your target to question their other relationships, increasing their dependence on you. Be the one who gets it. Position yourself as the one person who truly understands them. When they feel misunderstood by others or frustrated with their external world, be there to offer validation and emotional connection. This will deepen their sense of isolation from others and draw them closer to you. 6. Isolate through shared experiences. Another powerful form of isolation is through shared experiences that only you and your target understand or appreciate. These moments of intimacy create a bond that excludes the outside world. Create unique memories. Whether it's a secret rendezvous, an inside joke, or a memorable adventure, shared experiences create an emotional connection that sets you apart from others. The more memories you create together, the stronger the bond becomes, making it harder for them to re-engage with people who weren't part of those moments. Make them feel special. The key to successful isolation is making your target feel like they are part of something exclusive and meaningful. When they feel that you share a unique bond that others can't understand, they'll become more willing to separate from outside influences to preserve that connection. Key takeaways from Chapter 16. Isolation is a critical tool in seduction, allowing you to remove distractions and influences that could interfere with the relationship. By creating both physical and emotional isolation, you can deepen the bond and make your target more emotionally dependent on you. gradually build dependence by becoming an indispensable part of their life and keep them emotionally off balance to maintain control. Subtly undermine competing influences, making yourself the person they turn to for validation and support. Use shared experiences to create a bond that excludes the outside world, intensifying the connection and furthering the isolation. In the next chapter, we will explore the art of enter their spirit and how understanding and mirroring your target's emotions can deepen the seduction. Chapter 17. The use of aggression. In Chapter 17, Greene discusses the role of aggression in seduction. While many may think of seduction as a soft, gentle art, he highlights that a certain level of assertiveness can be compelling and attractive. Aggression, when wielded skillfully, can signal confidence and strength, qualities that are often irresistible to potential targets. The power of boldness. Greene emphasizes that being bold is essential in seduction. Boldness not only showcases confidence but also draws attention and creates intrigue. When a seducer displays assertiveness, it invites curiosity and admiration. This does not mean being overly aggressive or pushy. Rather, it's about confidently pursuing your desires while making your intentions clear. The dance of challenge and response seduction often involves a dance between challenge and response. A skilled seducer knows how to introduce playful challenges that create tension and excitement. This can involve teasing, playful banter, or even mild provocation. Such tactics keep the target engaged and emotionally invested, as they will seek to respond to these challenges, often leading to a deeper connection. The role of mystery. Greene notes that aggression can be enhanced by maintaining an aura of mystery. When the seducer is unpredictable and enigmatic, it compels the target to work harder to understand them. This creates an emotional tension that can be incredibly alluring. By being somewhat elusive and refusing to reveal everything, the seducer keeps the target wanting more. Avoiding overexposure. While aggression can be a powerful tool, Greene warns against being overly aggressive or too available. If the target feels that the seducer is always there or too eager, the initial excitement may fade. A sense of scarcity can amplify desire. When the seducer is less accessible, the target is more likely to pursue them passionately. Cultivating an aura of danger. Greene explains that an element of danger or unpredictability can heighten attraction. People are often drawn to those who embody a sense of risk or excitement. By displaying qualities that suggest you are not entirely safe or predictable, you can captivate your target's attention, as they will find themselves intrigued and challenged by the unknown. Key takeaways from Chapter 17. Aggression, when skillfully applied, can enhance seduction by signaling confidence and strength. Boldness is crucial. Assertively pursuing your desires can draw attention and admiration. Introduce playful challenges to engage your target emotionally, creating a dynamic of challenge and response. Maintain an aura of mystery to compel your target to work harder to understand you, enhancing their interest. A sense of danger or unpredictability can heighten attraction, making you more alluring to potential partners. Chapter 18. The Seductive Art of Manipulation. In this chapter, Greene delves into the subtle and often controversial aspects of manipulation in seduction. He argues that manipulation, when done ethically, can be a powerful tool in creating desire and influence. 1. Understanding the nature of manipulation. Greene clarifies that manipulation is not inherently negative. It's a natural part of human interactions, and when wielded wisely, it can foster deeper connections. Understanding the psychology of your target allows you to navigate their emotions and desires more effectively. 2. Crafting a narrative. A key aspect of manipulation is storytelling. Greene discusses how seducers can craft narratives that resonate with their targets, shaping how they perceive reality. By presenting information in a way that aligns with their desires and emotions, you can guide their thoughts and feelings in a desired direction. 3. The power of suggestion. Greene emphasizes the art of suggestion. Subtle hints and carefully chosen words can plant ideas in the minds of your target, leading them to believe that these thoughts are their own. The seducer becomes a catalyst for desire, skillfully steering the emotional landscape without overt control. 4. Creating dependency. Through manipulation, seducers can create emotional dependency in their targets. By positioning themselves as essential to their target's happiness or fulfillment, seducers can enhance their allure. This involves understanding what your target craves and making sure they associate those feelings with you. But 5. Ethical considerations. While manipulation can be effective, Greene stresses the importance of ethics. Manipulation should not involve deception or harm. A skilled seducer understands the boundaries and uses their influence to enhance the experiences of others, rather than exploit them. Key takeaways from Chapter 18. Manipulation can be a powerful tool in seduction, allowing you to shape desires and emotions. Crafting a compelling narrative can help guide how your target perceives reality and their feelings toward you. The power of suggestion can plant ideas in your target's mind, leading them to believe these thoughts are their own. Creating emotional dependency enhances allure. Position yourself as essential to your target's happiness. Ethical manipulation is key. Ensure your influence fosters positive experiences rather than harm. Chapter 19. The importance of timing. Timing is a crucial element in seduction, and in Chapter 19, Greene emphasizes the importance of knowing when to act and when to hold back. A well-timed approach can make all the difference in creating an impactful connection. 1. The right moment. Greene discusses the concept of recognizing the right moment to advance in the seduction process. Patience is essential. Rushing in too soon can backfire, while waiting for the perfect opportunity can yield significant rewards. Understanding your target's emotional state and readiness is key to successful timing. 2. The art of delay. Sometimes, delaying gratification can heighten desire. Greene suggests that by holding back or creating suspense, you can make your target yearn for your attention even more. This technique plays on the psychological principle that the anticipation of pleasure can be more thrilling than the pleasure itself. 3. Capitalizing on emotional states. Timing is also about understanding and capitalizing on emotional states. When your target is in a heightened emotional state, whether it's excitement, sadness, or joy, this is often the best moment to make your move. These emotional peaks can amplify the impact of your actions and words. 4. Recognizing signals. Greene encourages readers to be attuned to the signals their target is sending. Body language, verbal cues, and emotional responses can all indicate when someone is open to deeper connection. By being observant, you can identify the ideal moments to engage and deepen the relationship. 5. The balance of action and inaction. Successful seduction requires a delicate balance between action and inaction. Knowing when to be assertive and when to step back can create a rhythm in the interaction that keeps your target engaged without overwhelming them. This dance of give and take is what makes seduction an art form. Key takeaways from Chapter 19. Timing is crucial. Knowing when to act or hold back can significantly impact the success of your seduction. Delaying gratification can heighten desire, making your target yearn for your attention. Capitalizing on emotional peaks can amplify the impact of your actions and deepen the connection. Being attuned to your target's signals allows you to recognize the ideal moments to engage. A balance of action and inaction creates a rhythm that keeps your target engaged without feeling overwhelmed. Chapter 20. The seductive power of playfulness. In Chapter 20, Greene explores the role of playfulness in seduction. He argues that a playful attitude can disarm potential partners and create a sense of comfort, allowing deeper connections to form. 1. Lightening the mood. Playfulness can lighten the mood and create an enjoyable atmosphere. Greene explains that humor and play can break down barriers, making it easier for both parties to relax and open up. A playful approach fosters a sense of camaraderie, allowing for genuine interactions. 2. Flirting as play. Flirting is one of the most effective forms of playful interaction. Greene outlines how flirtation can create a spark, igniting interest and attraction. Subtle teasing, light banter, and playful gestures can all enhance the seductive atmosphere, drawing your target in further. 3. Creating a sense of adventure. Greene encourages readers to infuse a sense of adventure into their interactions. By approaching seduction as an exciting journey rather than a chore, you can create memorable experiences that strengthen the bond. Trying new things together or engaging in spontaneous activities can foster a sense of connection. 4. Encouraging vulnerability. Playfulness can also create a safe space for vulnerability. When both parties feel comfortable, they are more likely to share personal stories and emotions, deepening the connection. Greene highlights that vulnerability can be incredibly seductive as it fosters intimacy and trust. 5. Balancing seriousness and play. While playfulness is important, Greene advises that it should be balanced with moments of seriousness. Knowing when to be serious and when to be playful can enhance the overall dynamic, preventing interactions from becoming overly frivolous or shallow. Key takeaways from Chapter 20. Playfulness is a powerful tool in seduction, disarming potential partners and creating comfort. Humor and play can break down barriers, fostering genuine interactions. Flirtation enhances attraction, igniting interest through teasing and light banter. Infusing a sense of adventure into interactions creates memorable experiences that strengthen bonds. Balancing seriousness and playfulness enhances the dynamic, ensuring depth in the relationship. Chapter 21. The value of authenticity. In this chapter, Greene emphasizes the importance of authenticity in seduction. While many seducers may employ strategies and tactics, genuine connection can only be forged through authenticity. 1. Being true to yourself. Greene stresses that being authentic allows you to build trust and credibility with your target. When you are genuine, you resonate more deeply with others, making them more likely to be drawn to you. Authenticity establishes a solid foundation for any relationship. 2. Embracing vulnerability. Embracing vulnerability can enhance authenticity. By sharing your own experiences and emotions, you create a sense of intimacy that encourages your target to open up as well. Greene notes that vulnerability fosters a deeper connection as it shows you are relatable and human. 3. The dangers of pretense. Greene warns against the dangers of pretense. While adopting a persona might initially attract attention, it can lead to distrust and disconnection over time. Authenticity allows you to cultivate lasting relationships built on honesty, while pretense often results in superficial connections. 4. The power of transparency. Transparency can also enhance authenticity. Being open about your intentions, feelings, and desires fosters trust and understanding. When your target feels secure in your authenticity, they are more likely to engage fully and invest emotionally in the relationship. 5. The balance of authenticity and strategy. While authenticity is vital, Greene reminds readers that it should be balanced with strategy. Understanding how to navigate social dynamics and employ seduction techniques while remaining true to yourself is key to successful seduction. Key takeaways from Chapter 21. Authenticity is essential for building trust and credibility in seduction. Embracing vulnerability fosters intimacy and encourages your target to open up. Pretense can lead to distrust. Authenticity cultivates lasting connections. Transparency enhances trust. Being open about your intentions fosters emotional investment. Balance authenticity with strategy to navigate social dynamics effectively. Chapter 22. The final seduction. In the concluding chapter, Greene discusses the culmination of the seduction process and the various ways to ensure a lasting impact on the target. This chapter emphasizes not just the act of seduction, but also the importance of leaving a memorable impression that resonates long after the seduction is complete. 1. The importance of closure. Greene highlights the need for a sense of closure in the seduction process. Just as an artist finishes a masterpiece, a seducer must know how to bring the interaction to a satisfying conclusion. This closure can solidify the emotional connection and make the target yearn for future interactions. 2. Creating lasting memories. One way to achieve closure is by creating lasting memories that your target will carry with them. Greene suggests planning a memorable final encounter filled with significance and emotion. Whether it's a heartfelt conversation, a shared experience, or a grand gesture, these moments can etch themselves into the target's mind, reinforcing the connection. 3. Leaving a bit of mystery. Greene emphasizes the power of leaving a bit of mystery at the end of the seduction. By not revealing everything about yourself or the relationship, you maintain intrigue and allure. This lingering sense of the unknown can prompt the target to continue thinking about you and wanting more. 4. Encouraging reflection. Encouraging your target to reflect on their feelings and experiences during the seduction can deepen their emotional investment. Greene advises engaging them in conversations that prompt them to consider what they've gained from the relationship, allowing them to articulate their emotions and desires. 5. The role of the unpredictable. The unpredictable nature of seduction can also play a crucial role in the final stages. Greene suggests incorporating elements of surprise to leave a lasting impression. Whether it's an unexpected gesture, an unanticipated message, or a sudden change in the dynamic, these surprises can keep your target intrigued and eager for more. 6. Sealing the connection. Lastly, Greene discusses the importance of sealing the connection. This can be achieved through small but meaningful gestures that convey your ongoing interest and commitment. A thoughtful message, a reminder of a shared moment, or even a small gift can solidify the emotional bond and ensure the target feels valued. Key takeaways from Chapter 22. Closure is essential. Bringing the interaction to a satisfying conclusion reinforces the emotional connection. Create lasting memories through significant final encounters, ensuring your target carries a piece of the experience with them. Leave a bit of mystery to maintain intrigue and prompt continued thoughts about you. Encourage reflection to deepen emotional investment. Allow your target to articulate their feelings about the relationship. Incorporate unpredictability to leave a lasting impression, keeping your target eager for more. Seal the connection through small gestures that convey ongoing interest and commitment. Conclusion: the art of seduction. In the final reflections, Greene encapsulates the essence of seduction as an art form. He reminds readers that seduction is not just about physical attraction, but encompasses emotional and psychological elements that engage the target on multiple levels. Understanding human nature, emotional dynamics, and the subtleties of interaction are key to mastering the art of seduction. By employing the strategies discussed throughout the book, one can navigate the complexities of desire and connection, creating meaningful and lasting relationships. Seduction, in its highest form, is about creating joy, connection, and transformation, leaving both the seducer and the target enriched by the experience. And there you have it, the intricacies and strategies outlined in Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction. We've journeyed through the complex world of attraction, desire, and emotional connections, unveiling the powerful techniques that can enhance your understanding of human relationships. Remember, seduction is not merely about physical allure, it's about the art of connection, understanding psychological nuances, and mastering the dance of emotions. Whether you're looking to deepen existing relationships or cultivate new ones, the insights shared in this summary can serve as valuable tools in your arsenal. As we wrap up this exploration, I invite you to reflect on what resonated with you the most. How can you apply these principles in your own life? If you found this summary insightful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more engaging content on the Book Echo. Join us next time as we delve into another fascinating book, exploring the wisdom it holds for personal growth and transformation. Thank you for watching, and remember, the art of seduction is a journey. Embrace it.